Y recon igues back around 2022 or 2023. Hard to pin that is exact when the days run together like muddy water in the crate after a hard rain. Up here in Tesseries outside der as mile can, Timedont Marchstrat, I guander slow through the pines and the hollow still juvelli notice anoter jargan. If I'm vain, honest, I inte venseur guayantin, this now. Nights get long, wind rattle the tin roof, and my mind keeps circling, back to that house down the way. The one with a crooked porch on the telephone line stirankin, like a snake from the pole. Mavi talkin, it out gwil quiet the chesome. Mavi not. Value as get about the strange cause that I inte supposed to come. So ye light out plan as he can. The woman lived alone in that little place of the dirt road. Anna, though never could get her by name to her face. Folks, round here used naughty when side passed. Kept their distance politelark. She was quiet. Kept to herself after her husband went to the road one winter night years back. Car flipped 3 times, they said. Metal quisty bad. She never talked about it much. You carried that though in her eyes some as the rest of was a carry all injurious. House was modest, inherited from her folks, good from panty guite once. Now pelin, in strips, garden ganto with and volunteer tomatoes. Library hop downtown kept her days full of dust and paper, nights full of nothing, but the of the frig and the tick of that old wall clock. It started one evening, when the sky turned that Bruce purplely gets before a full dark. It was eating, on my own porch, feet up on the rail, nursing a tin cup of quick tea gun cold. Her phone ring through the open window, sharp, insistent, cutting the quiet like a knife. Didn't think much of it. Phones ring, but it rang again at her, past midnight, and kept on. I could hear her voice out through the trees, confused, then all of that didn't sound right. Next morning, she come out looking, pale, coffee stand big as my hand on her white blouse. Stood there staring, at it like it a vitrage her. That night the phone rang again. Some number showing, up strange on her calleride. Some on a string of digits starting, with county codes she didn't recognize. Voice on the other and calm, flat, almost keen in a way that made her on my arms stand up when she told me later. Said her neighbor's gray cat was gonna go missing that afternoon. She went up quick, thinking prank or wrong number. But she went over anyway. Knocked soft on the door of number 47. Mentioned maybe keep an eye on the cat. Woman sank her polite. So the cat was Orlando neri var always come back. Come das the cat strolling through the screen door like nothing happened. Anna stood on her porch watching, arms crossed tight, feeling that fierce prickle of something off. I saw her the next day at the little store down the road. Say bought milk and bread, eyes darting, like say expected trouble from the shelves. Didn't say much, but I called till the wheels was turning. That evening, the phone rang again. Some boys told her she'd found 500 pesos crumpled in the pocket of her old good coat in the whole closet. So I checked right after Ankin. Up, Sir no, views crisp as new money, folded neat, traid callin, back, busy signal endless, like talking to the line that refused to the air. Sort now, bresca chin. Say started keeping, notice, little spairo pa by the phone, that is sometimes and what God said. Traid blocking, the number didn't work. Calls come through anyway. Sometimes from different strings of digits battled ways that some boys, steady as a metronome. She told me one afternoon when he stopped by with a harper service from my garden. Said it felt like someone watching, closer, knowing her routines better than Sadie herself. He listened, nodded, didn't laugh. Up here we don't laugh at things that don't sit right. Then she testily delivered. Boy said her boss at the library was gonna announce staff cats come fraida. Anna married in Serza. Spoke plan to the woman. Asked if rumors was true. Got the boss thinking. Pushed the announcement back a month. That night the phone rang and remarked. Told the voice Taliban. You shouldn't have meddled. Next day a heavy old book slipped off a shelf. Called her a square on the temple. Blood trickled going down her cheek. Head pounding for days after. Smelled like old paper and iron. The coals got closer to the bone. Said her sister was gonna have a fender vender on the highway out toward the capital. Anna called her frantic. Begged her stay home. Sister laughed off a fierce back cancel the trip. Hours later Anna saw un car blew a tire on that some stretch of road. Rubber shredding. Sparks fleeing. At a meeting gains her ribs. Schizat sakin, on the shoulder till a track stopped. Elpet shine cheek. Smell of burnt rubber on her clothes 4 days. I could feel the wrong nisetolin. Over the hollow ten. Trees too quieter. Wind barely moving the leaves. No cell service up here. Never did reach the services proper. Nearest house is old man Torres of a mile down. Devas a post on upline besides. Silence presses in sick. Is valuing. Every sound till you were left wish use your thoughts and materials brevin. Incide. M. Saya started recording. The calls on that little digital things she kept by the bed. Boys predicted a blackout in the neighborhood at exactly 10:03 one night. Lights went dark right on Kwe. Whole street planned black. Anna run out burning. Folks, tall, like candles, fill buckets. Next call come sharp. Every change carries an equal price somewhere else. Words on heavy, like smoke you can't wave away. Traídas machine, the phone once. Toca a mertoid in the kitchen, plastic cracking, wires speaking. Bought a new one next day at the market in town. First ring after setting. Head up, summer boys. Said her wedding ring was gonna disappear. She locked it in the metal box under the bed, key on a chain round her neck. Morning, come, box open, ring on. Metal collant empty where it's over van. Unknown said as malfire in her kitchen that night. Say spent hours checking, plugs, turning, of breakers, sniffing, for gas. Went over thinking, she revealed it. Guka trito smoke seeking her throat. Flames leaking up the wall in the spare room. No wires, no heater, nothing to start it. Grab the extinguisher, put it out cooking, eyes stinging. Sat on the floor afterwards, back against the cabinet, listening to the house crack and settle like it was breathing with her. Confronted the voice next to me rang. Who are you? What do you want? Calm and swear. I'm what's left when team events. Every shift you make, the balance attack from somewhere else. Phone herus van sol yernes takt in adrur ciento pending years. Pages ye yo, ink fadev. Written about goals like this weeks before the crash. Some kindo predictions, some boys. Ignore Emma's yokes or round numbers. Cesar at the kitchen table reading, bailan pliegt. They are silent, realizing his regmibe ven the payment for submitting, and the chan without knowing. Let me tell you about my old Castillon skillet, the one you use most every morning. Black as coal, bottom works like from years on the good stove. Grease from bacon and chorizo backed in layers so sit you can see and you tilt it to the light. Brown rings, darker streaks where fat popped and burned. Smell heats you fear sting. All pour tourne sweet sour, mixed with a fun char of onions from las que saperan de iron tang underneath it all. I wipe it with a rag sometimes. Never scrap hard. Folks say dire win the seasoning. Handless however when the feet is low. So I wrap it in a dish towel. When I set it on the burner the metal ticks soft as it adds. Expanding. Then ticks again cooling, down at night like a slow heartbeat winding. Torres. Nothing especial. Used a pan. But it's honest. Some one my mouth said, some then from dropping. It when arthritis got bad. Grounds me when the world feels tilted wrong. Back to Anna. The wrongness grew. Coast turned darker, so the boy from down the street was gonna get hit by a truck crossing the road. She ran out barefoot, grabbing by the shirt used as a vehicle where it passed. Sabim. That afternoon, her sister cayed from the hospital. Mild heart attack, no warning, no history. Machines weeping, smell of bleach and worry. She smashed a new fonto. Boat another. Calls started instant. Boys at 7 days still her own and if she kept fitting. Each day say go quicker. This is spells. Ages of say going. Dry, like Tim was stacking, pieces early. It went up there one evening, when the wind carried her clean. Door open. Her sitting, at the table stand, at the phone. Told me the voice was hers, older, broken, from some other past where she had died already. Tried to warn herself that, sabe her husband, fix what broke. Whatever is sabe cosometin, e qual elsewhere. She was unraveling, her own thread trying, to stitch others. She stopped fixing, after that. Ignored the last call, predicted crash if she drove. Got in the car anyway, and he turned over smooth. Tires on gravel. It watched from my porch as it disappeared down the road. Heard the metal scream later, distant but sharp. Never found out if she might eat. House it's empty now. Phone still on the wall. Cord on hin, limp. Some night she hear it ringing. Fan through the trees. Don't answer. You sit and listen to the silence press back. That's a way of it. Keeps me up staring. At the dark. Reckon el de same for you. I reckon the turning. Point come when say decide to push back. Test if the voice call be true or outsmarted. Up till ten reduce venting. Her things. Small, sharp predictions are landing like stones in still water. Varana. Say wasn't te want to see quiet when someting. Felt wrong. Say started reading. Down every word. Timin, the calls on that little kitchen clock with a cracked face. One evening, the voice come through clear as creek water. Her boss at the library was fixing. To announce laughs come gwexen. Anna didn't take what. Married into the office next morning. Spoke plan to the woman behind the desk. Asked straight if rumors were true about cutting oars. Got the boss thinking. Antuin. And the announcement got pushed back a month. Anna come home feeling. Aflique o control. Like maybe she when the rules used a her. That night the phone ran different. Sharper tune in the ring. If rings can have a tone. Boy started when backeri damage. You saw te have interfered. She went up quick. Air tudin against her ribs. Next day a work a sickle volume. Some letter one thing from the back stacks. Slipped off a shelf when she walked under. Hit her square on the side of the head. Blood trickled warm down her ear. Headache bloomed like fear in her eyes. Smelled dust and old glue for days. Even after the cuts got bed over. She sat in the break room holding. Easy to her temple. Wondering if coincidence at this. The coast turned personal after that. Boy said her sister. Living 2 towns over was gonna have a little wreck on the highway. Nothing fatal. Use a note to check her up. Anna picked up the phone right after. Hands trembling. Called her sister and begged her to stay put that weekend. Mother up some story about needing company. So the house felt so empty. Sister laughed at fears back cancel the drive. Come afternoon and a West Hadding. To the store for milk and the right frontier blue on that same stretch of blacktop her sister gulbetaken. Raver Saturday loud. Car lurched hard. Gravel bitin de under carriaje. Schipul over sacking. Sat on the hottest fattest main. Bernd Raver and Felswat. Waiting for the shacks to pass. I cold seat wearing on her. Saya started coming. Outless. Kept the curtains drawn even in Dallas. I despot her on the porch sometimes. Staring at the front through the screen door like it may by it. No self-service reaches the parts proper. Towards to far, reaches to ik. Nearest neighbors good half mile down the twisty road. All Guido who don't answer knocks after dusk. Trees stand sick, esvaluing. So until the silence feels like a weight on your chest. You learn to live with your own thoughts up here, whether you want to or not. She talked to recording. The calls on a little handwriting say vote mailer there. Voice predicted a power outage in the neighborhood at exactly 10:12 a night. Lights winked out right on the dot. Whole street gone dark. Anna run door to door warning. Folks, told, fill jugs, light lanterns, don't open fridges. Neighbors grumbled but listened. Next ring after the lights come back on. Every change carries an equal price somewhere else. Word soon in there like smoke from Madame Fire. She sat at her kitchen table afterwards, recorded replying, the voice over and over, trying to find the crack in it, tried blocking the number. Dial the code, unsatisfied, didn't matter. Calls kept coming, sometimes from different strings of digits borrowed ways that some can boys, patient as a stone. One night it said her wedding ring, plain gold bands she'd worn every day since the ceremony, was gonna vanish. She took it off careful, locked it in the small steel box under the floorboards in the bedroom. Kiona chain around her neck, slept with one hand on the chain. Come morning, the box are open, they flipped back like someone who said they didn't have. Ring gone. Finger felt naked, collar to chin, skin darante felt wearing gears. Anon said a small fear in her kitchen come midnight. They spent the whole afternoon checking every outlet, unplugging the toaster, turning of the breaker, sniffing for gas. Went to bed thinking. She'd finally outplayed it. Go choking on smoke at 3 in the morning. Flames crawling up the wall in the spare bedroom. No wires running. There, no heater, nothing. Plug in. Air pushed against her face. Curtains blackening adegis. Grab the extinguisher from under the sink. Spray till the room filled with chemical stink and with powder. Sat on the floor coving. Back against the cabinet, listening to the house crack and pop as it could. She picked up the phone next to me and didn't take what for the boys to speak fierce. Who are you? What do you want from me? Calma sever. I'm what's left when team events. Every shift you make, the balance takes from somewhere else. Tune up slow. Set the receiver down like it guadaton. Phone Giros van sol viernes a few days later. Takten a dro sent touch sinds de funeral. Pages brittel. Ingan fant in spots. Described about calls used like this. Some kind of warnings. Some flap boys. Weeks before the regda to came. To the West pranks. Wrong numbers. Some body machine. We seem. Ignored everyone. Say Riva Lamplight. Fingers trembling on the paper. Releasing his class meat within the payment for submitting. The brassel off. And not lasting hairstro that bointes swallow down. If I'm vain, honest, that's when the wrong is really settled in my own bonus. Ide passer house on my way to the creek. See the lights burn latte. Silhouette passing, vain the curtains. Felt it in the air. Sicker, heavier, like breathing, throw gul. Let me tell you about my screen door. The one leading out to the back steps. Good from panty green gisago. Now fadeto al almos color. Cheap where the do who set to scratch. Hinges kicking a rhythm in no by yard. Too quickly it winds when you push it open. Then a low rusty groan as the spring pulls it shut, ending with a soft metallic click when the catches. Every morning, I step through carrying the slope bucket for the chickens or a lot of a split good. Vine grown click. A screen mesh is torn in the bottom corner from when the raccoon got in last fall. I patched it with wire body the steel flaps a little in the breeze. Smell of the tal mijes we spines up from the trees closer by, and in rain the good squares. Sticks used and no got a shabby hard. Not thin, fancy. Used a door. Very steady. Some kick my paher. Some grow on my makers when her hands got stiff. Keeps the days measured when everything else starts sleeping. The coast didn't stop. Got darker. Set a boy down the lane was gonna step out in front of a delivery truck. Anna run welfare across the gravel. Grab his shirt all used as a grille roller past. He looked a confused, truck horn blaring. She had him tight, sent him home sacking. That summer afternoon, her sister came from the clinic. My elder episode, out of nowhere, no family history. Machines weapon, steady, smell of antiseptic and wearing him on the line. She smashed the phone against the wall after that. Plastic splintered, wires angled. Drove to town next day, bought a new one cheap. Plug it in. First ring before she set the receiver down. Some boys. Told her 7 days still her own and if she kept pushing back. Each morning, after she would quicker. This is spell hitting, like wolves. Corners of her side grind, out, legs unsteady on the porch steps. Tim attacking, pamenterly, piece by piece. It went up there one quaila when the wind carried her sobbing through the trees. Door stood open. Her sitting at the kitchen table staring at the new phone. Told me kid like the voice was hers. Older, cracked, coming from some other fork in the road where she'd already died. Tried to reach back. Go on herself. Sabe Jerusban from the wreck. Whatever is sabe pulsometin, e qual way elsewhere. She was frying, her own life trying to mend others. She quit ficting after that. Let the last call come. Boy said crass if she drove that day. She got in the car anyway, and hine coat smooth, tires crunch gravel. It watched from my porch as the tires faded down the road. Heard the metal till later, distant but sharp, echo bones in of the ridges. House sits dark now, von steel and hin, on the wall inside. Cold coiled neat, never rains when I'm near, but so menaitzi square here it fan through the penis. Short breath, air knocking. I sit out here on the porch most evenings, lantern low, listening to the silence press back. Trees don't whisper no more, they used to stand. Remind me some things I intend to be chant. Some that's get back whether you ask or not. That's how it went. Keeps me walk staring at the dark rafters. Reckon edo the summer for whoever carries it in. On. I reckon the bottom dropped out slow. The guea rotten floorboard gives Sander Jurbo one crack at a time. Anna Van Oldin. On by her fingernails up tilten, but the coals started turning ugly, sharper, like a blood finding, the softest spot. One afternoon the voice come through plan, a boy from down the lane. Little fella no more than 8, was gonna step out in front of a delivery truck crossing the main road. Time given exact down to the minute. Anna didn't hesitate. Dropped the phone mi sentenze. Run barefoot across the gravel. Fibbling, by the time seria the corner. Grabbed the key by his chair collar used as a grille roar past. Horn blaring, angry. Trucks were, tires scaling, on hot asphalt. Boy looked up at her wide-eyed, confused, then started crying. She hugged him tight, sent him running, home to his ma. Stood there sucking, breast coming, in gasps, smell of diesel and rubber and him, sick. That some evening, her sister cayed from the hospital to counties over. Mail the art episode, no teen, they never sin coming, no family history, no warning, signs. Machines weeping, steady in the background, smell of bleach and plastic tubes carrying, over the line. Anna sat on the kitchen floor holding the receiver, tears silent, knowing, without asking, that she'd traded one life for another piece of her own kin. Short breath, air knocking hard. She couldn't take it no more. Next morning, she carried the phone out to the backyard, set it on the stump we used for splitting kindling. Took the mare from the shed, all clagged, handle wrapped in fratape, and brought it down hard. Plastic cracked loud, shards fleeing into the weeds. Wires dangled like coot bands. She swept the pieces into a paper sack, drove to town, bought the cheapest new one there at the hardware store. Plied it in careful, tested the dial tone. Before she could vencer the receiver down proper, it rang. Summer boys. Calm. Tall hairstrap. 7 days till her own, and if she kept fitting the current. Each morning. After that she woke quicker. This spells heating, like walls when she stood tall quick. Edges of her side crying, out slow, wall going, fussy at the corners. Steps turned unsteady on the porch boards, and always reaching, for the ride that wasn't tethered up the time. Time tacking, pamentarly, bit by bit, like nibbling, at the edge of a petit notin, back crash remands. I could see plan from my place across the hollow. She'd come out less and less. Curtains start drawn even when the sun was sick. Lights burn latte. Silhouette passing, back and forth behind the glass. The wrongness over her house sick as fall of the creek down. No self-service bitches tesserigis, neveras. Nearest neighbor stores. All familiar you could throw every years, but he's hiding. When years ago and don't answer knocks after dark. Trees stand close, branches low, swallowing every sound till the silence presses on your chest like a hand. You learn to carry your own noise up here, whether it's footsteps or souls turning sour. One while the wind carried her sobbing clear across the hollow. He grabbed the lantern, all kerosene one, big trim low, and threw her up the pass. Gravel beat my boots, branches snagged my coat sleeves. Door stood a hard when he got there. Side was sitting, at the kitchen table, new phone in front of her like a live thing. Eyes hollow, skin pale as milk left out overnight. Told me quiet, voice barely above a whisper, that the voice on the line was hers. Older, crack, come in, from some other vent in the row she'd already died. Tried to reach back through whatever cracks she'd found. Go over herself, kept her husband from driving that night years ago. But every time she chanced sometin, saw the boy, spare her sister direct, the balance pull a qual way from somewhere else. From her own thread, she was unraveling, slow, sobbing, others by spending herself. She quit ficting, after that. Let the calls come without answering, most times. Boys kept counting, down anyway. Said crass if she got behind the wheel on the 7th day. She sat quiet along while that morning, staring at the kiss and him on the oak by the door. Then she stood, slow, walked out to the car, and him a coat smooth, like it always did. Back down the drive, tears crunching, gravel soft. It watched from my porch rail, coffee gun call in my hand, as the tire faded around the first bend. Heard the metal tillater, distant but sharp, echo bouncing, of the ridges like a shotgun wide. Didn't go look, no there wasn't nothing left to see. House it's dark now, windows empty, phone still and him, on the wall inside, core coil neat beside the cradle. Never rings when I'm near, but som en ait si square here fan through the penis. Single trill, ten silence. Let me tell you about my old good story, the one in the lento of the kitchen. Cast iron, black as in, handy down from my grandpappy. Surface pity from years of hot skillets and the spin, grease. That grease ain't used on top no more. It's backed in depth, layers upon layers. Smell hits you fierce sting when you open the firebox door. All pour faturned sweet sour verdecas, mixed with a char of onions from supper's long pass. Funny on tannin is it a light blow on dry. I run a rag over it sometimes. Never scrap hard. Folks say they ruin the seasoning. Handle stas horrible when the feet is banked low, so it rapid in an old dish towel patch to many times. When it does in fresh split or the metal ticks off as it. Tick, tick, tick. Then ticks were as it cools at night, contracting like an old man's twin, into his child. Feeder vokes rattles yentel when they immersive. Notin, fancy. Used as to bad anis. Some dents from when madrap the Dutch oven. Some scorch marks from biscuits forgotten. Keeps the days measure when the nights stretch tall on and memories start playing tricks. The wrongness never kite lifted after she was gone. Hollow felt empty. Trees to taller somehow. Branches lower. Craig still runs called yonder. Babbling over smooth stones. But up top the silence smothers everything. No one come asking after her. Folks up here mind they round. Isolation the price we pay for the quiet. Miles between houses. No quick call for help. Use your amateurs brevin. Inside your head. Sort now. Bresca chin. Some nights. Dreams come sometimes. Phone ringing. In the dark. My own voice on the line. Older. Warning me about things I ain't done yet. Guake sweating. Reaching for the lamp. Wondering what I forgot to change. Grab the edge of the bed. Feel the raft wilt under my fingers. Groan myself. If I'm vain, honest, that's a greed of it. No bigs are those whom pin out. Used wrongness. Gaps were whole pieces of a life ought to be. House still stands yonder. Windows blind. Is still wide, but the pool lingers. Winkeris fan echoes now and then. Laughter that ain't happy. Footsteps that stop sudden. Some paths are allowed down for reasons we don't get to see. Try forcing, another way, and you don't always have what you think you're receiving. Sometimes you used move the head around, and the head always finds its way back to the one who stirred the pot. I sit out here on the porch this night, lantern burning, low, listening to the trees. Silence presses closer, reminds me I'm still breathing. Still whole and no to remember. For now, tate tale, such as it is, keeps me staring at the dark rafter still down pings the rig. Reckon it the summer for whoever here sit next.